Gemara Tov. Whoa. That's why we need new chairs. Double it up here. Here's another one. That was scary. Gemara Tov. I daven in the churva. It's so different than anything I expected. It's beautiful. Over there, whoever doesn't like to daven much should go to the churva. The chazan says everything for you. You don't say a thing. Everything. There's no ashamnu, no al-chet. The chazan says everything from beginning to end. You're just sitting and listen. And then Kriya Shema they do together. Everybody sings it together. And Hashem is some of the things are really nice. Not a single song. It's like one or two tunes. You know the old.
What time did you finish?
11, 15, 11.
Oh, in the morning?
11:30 in the morning we were done. There was a 4.5 hour break.
Wow.
We daven nights.
Yeah, we daven nights.
6, 5:30,
6:25 was nights. Oh, we're live. Okay. There's going to be some interesting stuff today, only because I prepared the daf on the way back from Yerushalayim here while my wife is driving. So it's like it's going to be interesting. What?
You break your fast yet?
All right, we're holding Daf Mem. It's mamish a new year. Motzei Yom Kippur. Daf Mem Omid Aleph on the top. Brand new sugya. Tana Rabbanon.
It actually mentions Yom Kippur.
Yeah, that was the Pella. It's always beautiful when you learn a daf and it mentions like that day. Today it mentions Yom Kippur. Tomorrow's Lulav?
Yeah.
Ad Kei Kach I didn't have a chance to get to. Tana Rabbanon. Yeah. No joke. That's what I need after a fast to prepare for tomorrow's.
You had a 4.5 hour break. What do you want?
Without coffee. You have to get up at 4:30. No. All right. Torah Rabbanon. Sodin betzitzis. Sodin. What's a sodin? It means you have a beged made out of linen. Betzitzis. Talking about, according to Rashi, talking about the tzemer. Beishamai poitrim ubeis hillel mechayvim. So as if we never learned anything about this, which we did yesterday, but just kilu loyhaya. Beishamai say that there's no smuchim, there's no halacha that you could do shatnez and tzitzis. Everything we learned was according to Beis Hillel. Beishamai hold you cannot do shatnez if you can't do shatnez, so you can't put in tzemer into a beged of pishtim. Ememela it's potur, and Beis Hillel say no. We have the smuchim, we have the parsha of shatnez right next to the parsha of tzitzis, which teaches us that you could put shatnez in tzitzis, and therefore, no, you have a pishtim beged.
Why you don't put pishtim tzitzis?
You could put pishtim tzitzis. Yeah, according to this, you could. Yeah, according to Rashi, the question is only on the shatnez part, on the tzemer in this pishtim beged. But yes, you would have to put pishtim tzitzis. Now Rashi asked the kasha. Why does it say poitrim? It should say oisrim. If the whole problem is shatnez, then it should say Beishamai say it's also to put shatnez in the tzitzis. Why does it say Beishamai say it's potter? So Rashi says unbelievable thing.
You could wear the beged without the tzitzis.
No, you can't.
Potter.
Oh, you mean it's a bigger kasha? You're asking a bigger kasha.
That's exactly what Rashi says.
Yeah. Hagufa. He's saying it better. He's saying it with the baktzeiner. So Rashi says a big chiddush here that Beishamai hold that the chiyuv of tzitzis is even when you don't wear it. When it's in your drawer, the beged is chayav b'tzitzis. So that's what Beishamai is saying. You're potter for putting on these tchelas, this tzemer on the beged. Zog the Gemara. V'halacha kebeis Hillel, kedei Beis Hillel. And the halacha is that you could put shatnez in a beged. And memela, if you have a beged of pishtin, of linen, you put in the strings of tcheles, which are tzemer, and you have shatnez. Omar Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Tzadok v'haloi kol ha'meitel tcheles b'Yerushalayim einoi elo min ha'masmin. By the way, I was learning this today, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in Yerushalayim. I just started putting on tcheles yesterday. I'm from the Masmian. So you're a person that makes everybody wonder what's going on. Basically, Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Tzadok is saying that you're not allowed to put on tchelas in Yerushalayim. What?
On a sudden.
On a sudden, because people are going to think that you're wearing shatnez, and if they say you're wearing shatnez, which they still say you're allowed to, they're going to say that you're allowed to use shatnez anywhere. So basically, Rebbe Eliezer ben Rebbe Tzadok is saying you're not allowed to wear tcheles. So how does this fit with the halachas like Beis Hillel? If the halachas like Beis Hillel, what is the problem here? Omar Rebbe imkein lama sarua. If the halacha is like Beis Hillel that you're allowed to wear shatnez, then why in the world is it also to wear in Yerushalayim? And for that, we're going to have 5 pshatim here. That's basically going to take us deep into today's daf. The first pshat, let me just say about pet, so it's not confusing. Maybe I'll confuse everybody before we look inside. Very, very simple. We're looking for a reason why you would wear tzitzis, even though the Torah says that you could wear shatnez. We have perhaps 5 reasons. The first, the Gemara says, because people don't know the halacha of shatnez. They won't know that it's based on smuchim, that we have a special drasha by tzitzis that comes to be matter, and they'll say, oh, look, that guy is wearing shatnez on his beged, so I could put shatnez on my coat. That's not a tzitzis. Nothing to do with tzitzis. The Gemara is doicha that. Then the Gemara says, a pshat of kali ilon. We're worried that there's this indigo which produces blue, which is exactly the same color as tcheles basically. And if you say that tcheles is mutter, people might come to wear this kind of tzitzis as well. And that is really shatnez, because now you're wearing a piece of wool without the tcheles, with the fake tcheles, the Mickey Mouse tcheles. And what you have is a piece of wool with your pishton, and that's 100% asur. Then the Gemara goes away from that terrace. The Gemara says, there's another halacha. When you test out tcheles, the testing piece, you're not allowed to use for tzitzis. So we're worried that somebody might use that piece for his tcheles, so Rabbanan said, no more tcheles. The Gemara went away from that. Then the Gemara says, a pshat. Maybe we can't wear tcheles today because somebody might, as he's sewing his tzitzis, the corner of his tzitzis, he'll have a white string left over, pishton, and he'll use that for his tzitzis. What's the problem with that? Anybody remember? What's the problem? Tasev v'lemin. Very good. It's already there, it's not for tzitzis. And then the 5th pshat is, and that seems to be the final pshat, that you might wear it at night when you're potter, and since you're potter, now you have a problem with shatnez. The only time that it's not shatnez is if it's tzitzis. Yeah. Well, it depends. Well, we're going to see.
That's potter from.
Well, let's see. It's actually machlekes rishonim. You're right according to some rishonim. Okay, so let's see it inside. All those 5 pshatim. What?
You mentioned about, I don't know if I understood correctly, is the difference between we have tzitzis as one min and talis as something else, because the real so shatnez is when you actually weave pishton and the rice is to actually weave the garment from linen.
Yeah.
Well, so we're talking about somebody takes something where they weave wool and then.
No. If you use the tzitzis, regular tzitzis, if you put your tzitzis that are tzemer into the hole of the talis and you just tie the knot, that's shatnez on the spot. That's what we learned. Because you made it doesn't come out. You need two in and out. So by making double knot,
it's like sewing it in.
Yeah, sewing it in. Once it can't come apart, the whole point of one stitch is that it can come apart. So now let's see all 5 things inside. Says the Gemara. Omar Rebbe Imkei Loma Asirua. If the halacha is like Beis Hillel that you're allowed to wear tzemer and pishton in the tzitzis, the Torah says you're allowed to be over in shatnez. There's no shatnez when it comes to tzitzis. So then why do we say that in Yerushalayim you're not allowed to wear it? Lefi she'ein bikim, because people don't know the halachas, and they'll see somebody wearing shatnez in his tzitzis, and they'll think that it's always mutter. Ask Rashi the kasha, so what? So you're telling me because you have an issue that maybe somebody will be over, so Chacham said no more tzitzis. So they're basically telling you that they took something from the Torah and they said no more Torah. How do Chachamim have the right to be oiker davim min ha-Torah? Says Rashi that when it comes to Sheva al Taisa, they have the right. All they're telling you to do is don't wear tzitzis. They didn't tell you to do something against the Torah. They just said don't wear.
They're not saying don't wear tzitzis. They're saying don't wear tcheles.
Yeah. So it says in the Torah to wear tchelas. In this particular case.
Lavan is not activated the tailors, is that we said it before, that's enough.
But it says it's enough, but the Torah tells you mitzvah. According to them, there is no. It's Reb Chaim Kanievsky, nignas.
No.
You can't do tchelas anymore.
Only on linen.
Right. Correct.
Why can't you do a
Okay.
wool garment
Fine.
with wool tchilas?
What?
Why can you do a wool garment with wool tchilas?
Yeah, you're right. That's what he's saying. They weren't oikered. In this particular case, they were oikered. Rashi says even in this particular case, they weren't oiker. Oiker means when they tell you to do something against the Torah. Over here, they just told you, don't wear that clothes. Don't wear something else. So they didn't remove something from the Torah. Okay, fine. So now we have shot number one, because of the people, the Amaratzim, they'll confuse tzitzis with other begadim, they'll think that you're allowed to wear shatters. If you're so worried about Amaratzim, the ignoramus, you should take 10 people, you'll have 10 people, and they'll announce in the street that the reason why we're wearing is for tzitzis. There's a special halacha that allowed to wear shatters in tzitzis. Says the Gemara, Kolchkein, the Masmuhu Ilavon. If 10 people are wearing shatnez, then the Amaratzim are going to say, wow, 10 people are wearing shatnez. Shatnez is mamish mutter on all clothing. So let them announce it, let them talk about it in shul, let them give a drush about it and tell people we're only wearing it because it's tzitzis, but you're not allowed to wear shatnez in other clothing. Gzeira, you're right. So now we have shat number 2. Gzeira mishum kol ilon. Pull out the picture, why not? We have it, might as well use it. Kol ilon, indigo, used even in our days. People still make blue dye from this plant. And as we said, I don't know if you missed it, but this number adds up to the other number, to chilazon, and Rabbi Schoenberg said so does, I don't remember what, some sugar coming out of some derivative, some glycerin. V'chulu v'chulu. I forgot to mention one of the rayas, the continuation of that raya, is that if this is so similar to chilazon, and they have the same color, and let's say you decide it's not the Murex trunculus, it's something else, but it has such a strong blue, the Murex trunculus. That we know it has blue. Here, look, it has blue. So why is it not mentioned in the Gemara? Then the Gemara should say, you're not allowed to sell this and pass this off as tchelas, and you're also not allowed to sell this, what the guys in I don't know where are those guys from? They sell this also, and they pass this off as tchelas. They're also very bad people. It's blue. Look.
Because when Mashiach is going to come, you're going to see it's a different, completely.
It's a different blue. No, blue is blue. By the way, that was a very what? What do you say?
It's purple. I don't know. I mean.
No, tchelas is blue. Argument is purple. Okay, whatever. It's one of their kashas. It's a good kasha. There's no mention. I'll make this kasha stronger. They used this in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. You're asking to me that they had this color in the time of the Beis Hamikdash?
No,
They found those graves of the Murex trunculus. What was it? Why did they have those?
Before the Mabul, what is it?
Oh, so you argue with that? Okay, that's the Nachman Seltzers.
It's not fair that you're restarting the argument with that.
Okay.
It's not fair.
Fine, no, you're right. We're gonna wait.
They use it for purple.
They what?
They use it for purple. Maybe you put it in the
No,
sun.
right, it was blue, and that was blue.
Oh, purple. Okay.
Your father has a riot from that Roman text where they said,
That's the blue.
Anyways, weiter.
that's your father's one.
Gzeira mishum kol ilan. So Nachmal, we're worried that somebody might have this indigo tzitzis, and if he has indigo tzitzis on wool, and he puts the piece of wool on his linen beged, he turns his beged into shatnez. Now, if it was real tchelas coming from a chilazon, that's not a problem. You're allowed to put shatnez in your tzitzis. But since it's the fake stuff, it's the indigo stuff, indigo has no heter to have shatnez, and Mamela, we were worried. They said, no more tchelas in your tzitzis. As the Gemara, v'lo elolavan. What is the problem if he has the Mickey Mouse Kali Elon blue? So it will be a white piece of tzemer. What's the problem? And we said you could put white tzemer on pishtin. Kivin the efshe b'minon loy. No, this is a major problem. You cannot put wool if you could put linen. Use linen tzitzis. You can't use wool tzitzis. You can only use wool tzitzis if it's tchelas and you want to be mekayim the mitzvah fully. But stam to put wool tzitzis on a pishtim beged for no reason, you have no right. Kivin efshe b'minon loy. What?
You see, for me, there's nothing wrong with using the wrong color.
The wrong color, correct.
There's nothing wrong with it, except for shatnez.
Yes, exactly. You're allowed to use red. Well, no. That's only here. We learned min kanaf that it has to be white because the beged was white. Most of the begadim had white. I think what you're saying, and I saw it actually brought down mefurish what you're saying. If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember. I was just fasting, but I think it's dafke over here in Beis Shammai.
It's coming soon. Discussion of it's going to be soon. Why was it addressed?
There's another point that I thought about you also when we're learning this. We'll see soon. Okay, the Rish Lakish. If you have a contradiction, there's two things that are opposing each other. You have an assay and a lois assay. If you can get away from doing the lois assay, do it. By the way, this sugya, this Beis Hillel that says that Tchelas is doicha shatnez, is the makar in all of Shas for esa doicha lois assay. So Rish Lakish says that's only good esa doicha lois assay if I don't have an option. If I have to be mekayim mitzvahs tchelas and I have a linen beged, fine. But what happened over here? He has a linen beged, and he just wants to use wool tzitzis for no reason. They're not tchelas. They're koli ilan. They're the fake tchelas. So then he has no right to use it. Then he would have to use. Then he could get away with both. He could be mekayim both. He's not forced into a corner. Since he's not forced into the corner, let him just wear linen tzitzis with his linen beged. Who told him to wear wool tzitzis? They're not even tchelas.
Wool tzitzis doesn't fall under min kanaf?
Not if it's
No.
Then we have that.
No,
because we said
the opposite. Min kanaf means
no, we had that,
linen.
No, we had that discussion that we said min kanaf was what most begadim are.
Mm-hmm.
So since most
And therefore it turns into everything.
right.
And therefore it's white linen.
Wait, you said min kanaf was linen?
White linen. Most begadim are linen and white. Says the Gemara, "V'liv dekuha." There is a way to check for indigo versus coming from a snail. So if there's a way, let them check. The Gemara is going to explain. You put it in urine with this. That's over a whole long process, and you could tell. Basically, the kali elon is weaker. It's missing. I forgot the name. Bromide, I think. Maybe bromide. There is a chemical in the indigo bromide in the chilazon that adheres better. So if you use whatever chemical, like what is it called, like a bleach or whatever, the kali elon will come off.
It fades.
It fades because it doesn't have the bromide. So let them check. What's the problem? The problem is you're worried people are going to confuse the kali elon with tchelas, and memela they'll be over in shanas. Let them check. So you're right. The Gemara goes away from that pshat. Pshat number 3. Elexera mishum te'ima. We're worried that while they're checking they want to see if their tchelis is a nice color, a good color, they check it. They do a test. They do a test run. That test run is no good. Maybe because it's not lishma. It's no good. So if it's no good, he might use it as tzitzis. It's not good tzitzis. And now he's over on shanas. So in we said all tchelis no good because of that test. V'lichtava diskei. Let them put out a patchkavil. Let them put out a sign.
Why is it so low that it's white?
Din of white
Why is it
on
different color?
again. So that we had before.
It's not the shema. It's possible for anything.
The color is
Why the actual tzitzis? He's talking about no. The tseva is no good. But then you have the same shot that we had before. On your beged of you have no right to put tzemer on a pishon beged if it's not real. We just said esa dechelaisa only when you have to, but you don't have to. It's fake. As the Gemara v'lichtiva diskei, they should put up a sign and tell everybody, do not use the test run tchelas. It's no good. Says the Gemara, diskei leikim v'lismuch. How could
not to tell everybody, to tell the sellers, and the makers don't sell it.
you could rely on them? You're saying.
No, that's a half a minute of the Gemara.
Yeah, it's for the sellers.
So the Gemara, where does it say sellers here? I don't see in Rashi. That's soivim. Okay, very good. We're going to be soimich on this. Omarova, hashta. How can you be soimich on some signs? Hashta chometz bepesach of Yom Kippurim the kares samchina diskei. When it comes to kares, when they do a ibriyar, they do a shanamu beres. How do you let everybody know that they can't eat chometz on the second month? From a sign. What about Yom Kippur? So here's Yom Kippur. Mentioned today on today's Daf, Yom Kippur's day. We had tshuva. No? We had the word Rosh Hashanah? Wow. It's mamish a sign in the Shemaim. And it's also a sign. So should I learn from this the sign that I should wear tchelas or not wear tchelas? I'm trying. It says, don't be masmin when you wear it in your slime. Okay.
Yeah, the joke is if they follow a 30-day month and then one before Yom Kippur.
That's one shot. If it's one extra day or it's a whole extra month. But Kitzer, the point is, whatever announcement they make regarding the month, it has a lot to do with Yom Kippur, what day Yom Kippur is, what day Pesach falls out, and these are the eraisos. Eating chametz on Pesach is the eraisa. So we certainly should rely on an announcement for the asay of Shabbos or tzitzis. Elo marova homil samri. I said this thing. Vitma b'marova mishum de Rabbi Zeri, and they said it also in Eretz Yisrael in the name of Rabbi Zeri kavasi, just like I said. The problem is a fourth problem. Shemo yikoras dinoi b'soich shalosh vitfirenu. He's going to sew up his tzitzis, and he's going to have leftover white string. He's going to say gevaldik. I got a head start already. I'm going to use this white string that I just used to stitch up my talus. I'm going to use that as part of my tzitzis. I'm just going to take a blue string and wrap it around the white string. I'm going to have tzitzis. What's the problem with that? You have to make new tzitzis and not from made already tzitzis. Like we said, the mashal is the famous, the classic is a sukkah. At least for me, because I learned it when I was a kid. If you have like a godish, you have a pile of wheat existing, and you dig out and you create a sukkah from it, it's a pasul sukkah. Why? Because the schach was made already, you didn't make the schach. So if you have tzitzis made already, then it's pasul tesvalim minos. Says the Gemara, Shara Rabbi Zera Lizdinei. So you see, Rabbi Zera held like Rava, and he undid his pishtan garment that he had, his linen garment that he had tchelas, he undid it and he got rid of the tchelas. So everybody asks here, what's the point? Who said that he holds like Rava? Maybe what?
We're waiting for
For
you.
me? No, I don't even have pishtan. What is it on? I'm on cotton. Yeah, I'm okay. Now I'll get it on wool. We'll get it on wool, won't have any shilas. Maybe Reb Zera had a different reason for putting. Where does it say in Reb Zera that he held like Rava? All it says that he undid his tzitzis. Maybe he held like what the Gemara is going to say in a second. Rav Zera Amar Zera Navi Mishum Ksus Laila. By the way, Taisus points out here that Reb Zera and Rav Zera are two separate people, because it's two separate Amoraim. Because over here it says Rav Zera. He has a new reason. Ksus Laila. It's a beat. Rav Zera and Reb Zera are the same people. So then the reason why Rebbe Zera undid his tzitzis is not because of Rava. Exact opposite. It's because of Ksus Laila. We're worried that he might sleep in his pajamas, or he might sleep in his day clothes. Well, what's Ksus Laila? Ksus Laila is a night garment. What does it mean? Where's the Isser? So according to Rabbi Tam, what determines is the type of beged it is. So a pajama is always potter from tzitzis because it's a night beged. A suit is always chayiv b'tzitzis if it has 4 corners. That's Rabbeinu Tam. The Rambam says no, it has nothing to do with the type of garment it is. It has to do with what time of the day it is. So if you wear pajamas at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're chayiv in tzitzis. And if you wear your suit to sleep, you're potter from tzitzis. Very simple. And the Ran says in between shita. He says he takes a little bit from both. He says pajama is always potter. But if you wear, so pajama is like Rabbeinu Tam. But yet he says it has to do with also the time that if you wear a day clothes at night, you're potter.
The bigger question is about a blanket.
Why? Because you use it, especially me. For me, it's a day garment. Is there any water over there? No.
The blanket is
With dog? Yeshua.
The blanket.
Where is he?
Blanket
Is there any water? Are you sleeping on the job? You sleeping on the job? I'm not sure. The guy at the hotel, by the way, the security guy at the hotel, out cold by the magnometer. He's like, any Arab could come in, out, he's sleeping. So I don't know what's worse. You or Yeshua? That guy Yeshua. Fine.
Not the right size.
What? All right.
Some people sleep at day, you know, so.
No, but it's potatoes.
Zog the Gemara of Amarava, Homilse Amri, V'itma b'Marov Mishmei Reb Zeri Kavasi. I said this thing, and in Eretz Yisrael they said like me, and like Reb Zeri said like me. He shall beged, that's it. New sugya, everybody could wake up, new koiches, new mesechta. What happens if the whole entire beged is a normal beged, but knofel shel or, the corners they put in a nice piece of leather. Now leather is not chayiv b'tzitzis. So the question is, how do we view this beged? Do we view the beged by the corner, or do we view the beged as the whole garment and it has a bad corner? Says the Gemara, Rava says it's chayiv b'tzitzis. He shel or. But if most of it, 99% of it is leather, uknofel shel beged, and the corner is linen, ptura. My time, why ikr beged binon? You go by what the main part of the beged is, not by the corner. Rav Chai ozil basar konof. And Rav Chai says the opposite. It all goes by the corner. We don't care about the main part of the beged. Omer Rav Schor, Omer Rav Huna. Heitil lebalas sholish vishnim arba psulo. So this is, we touched upon it before. He has a garment that only has 3 corners. So he put tzitzis on 3 corners. Is he yotzei? No. What are these tzitzis? Nothing, meanwhile. Then he goes.
There's nothing to be yotzei. You can wear it like that.
Yeah, okay, fine. But the tzitzis are not tzitzis. The tzitzis are on blinks. Then he went and created a 4th corner out of this beged. Now we have a problem. Why? Because tas sevelim also. Now you have tzitzis that were there already and they weren't made on a proper beged. So that's why it's puzzled. Tas sevelim also. Meisvei, so the Gemara has a kasha. It says Chasidim Harishonim, they were very mezuras b'mitzvahs. Kivin sha'argu b'shalosh. Thank you very much. Kivin sha'argu b'shalosh. Once they weaved 3 fingers worth of beged. That's the minimum, right? Clothing becomes clothing when you have 3 fingers by 3 fingers.
No, it's not time in tzitzis for that.
No.
What?
That's too small. It has to fit over the majority of the
Oh yeah, that we're gonna get there. But they did. But once they had 3 finger widths, so the Havamina was the Havamina.
That's the minimum size for a beged for tumah.
No, once they had 3 fingerprints left to the beggar, then they would have fixed it.
No.
That's afterwards. That's the teretz.
Oh,
In the beginning, we thought that's what it meant. That's why we had a kasha.
we thought it was 3 by 3. And,
Right. Kim shogava shaloi shoyim atil tchelas. They would put in tchelas right away. So now they started weaving a beged.
Yeah.
They got this much. They only had this much of the beged. They said, "Wow, when it comes to tumah, this is a proper beged, so therefore, let me put my tzitzis on. So, what? What's b'shamay? What part?
You know that you have the beggar has to have tzitzis before you have.
Oh, you're saying, very nice. You're saying that the chiyuv is on the beged, not on the person. So once it became a beged, very nice. I hear. I didn't think of that. So they put tzitzis. Now the problem is that it's not even a beged yet. They only had 2 corners. They didn't get to 4. They only had 2 corners. Once they got to 2 corners, they put tzitzis on. So you have 2. We just said even if you have 3, it's puzzle. So if you have 2, how can it be kosher? So the Gemara says, Eimar, you have to explain, Kivin shepatzu bo shalosh hoyimatin l'tcheles. No, they had a proper beged with 4 corners, but it was missing only 3 fingers left to make it a full beged. But it was a good beged. It had 4 corners. It doesn't have a problem with tasav leimin asui. Umi amina, just the Gemara says in general, Mi amina tasav leimin asui, ini, v'omer Rav Zeira, hitel muteles kshero. This is a geshmak sugi, Rabbi say. What happened here? A guy had tzitzis with 4 proper tzitzis on every corner. Then he went and he put 4 additional tzitzis, 1 in each corner. Hitel lemutelis. He put tzitzis to where we already had tzitzis. And this is neged to what you were saying, Chaim, the other day. You were talking about shatnez. If you're allowed to add shatnez to shatnez, this is a little bit of that sugya, because over here he added tzitzis. What halacha? How do we view those extra pair of tzitzis? Number 5, 6, 7, 8. The last 4 pairs. What are they? They're nothing. Because
are they nothing, or are they tzitzis?
Well, you don't need tzitzis. You don't need them.
No, are you Baal
Oh.
Tosef, or are you?
But forget about Baal Tosef for a second. Baal Tosef is a good kasha that the Gemara is going to talk about. But forget about Baal Tosef. This beged does not need tzitzis anymore. It's potter from tzitzis. It already has tzitzis. Now you went and you put more tzitzis on. It's different than Rav Scheinberg wearing another beged with more tzitzis. Over here, he's adding tzitzis to a place that already has tzitzis. You don't need it. It accomplishes 0. So how do we view those tzitzis? Those tzitzis, l'chayra, are blanks, not tzitzis. Now, if you go ahead and remove tzitzis number 1, 2, 3, 4, the original 4, can you use the second pair, the 5, 6, 7, 8? What's the shaila? You can tasav leimin also. You're taking blanks and making them into tzitzis now, right? Omar Rava, this is amazing. This Rava is worth everything. It's mamish geshmak. Omar Rava, hashto. I'll explain to you. Bibal toisev koi. Since this guy was over Isser Deraisa Bal Toisef, he added tzitzis to where he wasn't allowed to add. You're not allowed to have two tzitzis on one corner. It shows that what he did was
Undoing.
It was a real
no.
It was undoing the previous.
Maisa loyhavi. What he did, if he's over on Bal Toisef, then his Maisa is nothing. Let's see Rashi. The reason why the second period is kosher, the koi bebal toisiv ki avdinu v'loy have Maisa. The key, even though al divrei Torah loy mikri Maisa, a person that does an Isser while he's doing the Isser, he's not doing a Maisa. Hilkach ki pasik l'kamai. Therefore, since when you get rid of the first tzitzis, he have asiyos in the basroi. His maisa of putting on tzitzis doesn't exist. He never put them on. It only became a maisa, halachic maisa, once the first tzitzis were removed. Nachamal. Since he was over about Tosef, we don't consider his action as an action, because you can't do an Issur D'Oraisa. You can't say that the Issur D'Oraisa was an action, so we ignore his action. It only becomes an action once we remove the first pairs of tzitzis, then his pairs jump into effect.
It's a crazy chiddush that doesn't apply anywhere else. There's nowhere else you can possibly do this.
Why?
Because where do you have where you can cut tzitzis off and suddenly it has some new tzitzis?
Suddenly, something.
Go.
You could put schach. You put schach on, and then you take off the first schach, the puzzle schach, and then
Then you
the
never
schach.
lost schach, because there's no Isser by having extra schach.
Yeah, but it didn't exist. It wasn't schach because the puzzle schach was there, so your schach is nothing.
You're saying-
I'm just saying an example. I don't know.
You cut it.
Maskiv la Rav Papa. This amazing chiddush that Rav says. Ask Rav Papa mimai. Mimai the gaver lo yisufik mechaven. How do you know that this person came to do an avera of Baal Tosef by adding tzitzis? Dilma levatuli mechaven. Maybe his intent was to get rid of the first pair. And if that's the case, then he wasn't over a Isser, rather he was over then Uba Tosef Leka, Umaisa Ika. Then he's not over in Baal Tosef because he was trying to get rid of the first guys. And he created a Maisa. If there was a Maisa, then there is Tasav Asui. Because it turns out that his action was a good action. If his action was a good action, then his tzitzis are there. If his tzitzis are there, they're not needed because you already have tzitzis beforehand. They only become tzitzis after you get rid of the first tzitzis, and then it becomes tasav leimin also.
He's das
Kishmak. What?
He's das with Baal Tosef. He wants
Yeah.
to be chal. Because he wants to take off the
Why not? Why not? I can't go into my sukkah a day after sukkah and say, I'm not going in l'shem sukkah. I'm going in to use my porch. Why shouldn't it have to do with his das?
The second page is putting up the Bukhaim mitzvah. It's different. You go get the sukkah to Bukhaim mitzvah. The second page.
No, he's going in to be mevatel the first pair. I want to be mevatel the first one. I'm doing a ma'isa
You
bittul.
didn't do the mitzvah yet. You first put.
I am. I'm showing you that I'm being mevatel with my second
You
pair.
first put you put the second pair on to be Bukhaim mitzvah. You didn't yet take off the first pair. So at the moment, right now you're in Baal Tosef.
No, but he wasn't.
After you cut the first pair, too bad. Why is that no longer?
No, as long as I think to myself, I don't want to be over Baal Tosef. So then it becomes a ma'isa. Yeah, I'm not mechav. Yes,
You never had a sister.
you yourself told me that about Rabbeinu Tam. No,
He was going to cut them off.
you're the one that told me. Then you asked me in kashas if you never told me. He told me halacha that when you wear Rabbeinu Tam, you have to be mechav not to be yoytz to the mitzvah. Otherwise, you can be over Baal Tosef. He says it's a mishabura. Yeah.
He didn't have a scissor, so he said, I'm going
And then you bring a raya from tefillin itself. You ask me a raya on me.
He didn't have a scissors there, so he said, then you put the new set on, and then afterwards I'm going to...
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
He was already...
Exactly. Exactly.
But I'm saying you're wearing it because you don't know which sheet you hold on. So you say,
Hillel is explaining what happened there. He didn't have the scissors. He's saying, I don't want these guys. I want these guys. These are nicer. As soon as I get my scissors, I'm going to take it. But he's saying, I don't want to be open about Tosef. I don't want two pairs. It just happens to be there's two pairs now, but I don't want it. Should we continue or should we start from here tomorrow? Whatever you guys want. Tomorrow? What? Tomorrow. Okay. Have a great year, everybody. Piska Tova.
So your sit says you're not getting